If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below. You know what these sins are for.
31 flavors of Gozy Agbos.
Another day, another X seconds of logo sin. What makes it worse is that it isn't even the seconds, as the production company credits were done in 21 seconds, so you're just counting the number of different fonts for Gozy Agbo, which is a clever nod to the premise of the film. Again, this is yet another instance of you not removing sins for short logos. This is just another admittance that you have absolutely no idea how to open a video, which is strange because you've literally skipped the opening sequence of plenty of movies before. Literally no one thinks 30 seconds of production company credits are a problem, so it's annoying that you keep pointing them out. You are actually wasting our time trying to say they're wasting our time. I mean, for f***'s sake, this video is already 42 f***ing minutes.
Also, I don't care how sentimental the music here is. Stop putting your filthy hands on other people's mouth holes. This is never okay.
Not even if she's Black Bolt?
Anthropomorphizing a laundry bag by putting googly eyes on it. All I can think about now is that this bag's life is people cramming their filthy unmentionables down its throat, and it's either in a constant state of torture or bliss, and either way, that creeps me out, and I blame you, movie.
As always, when a movie is really good, CinemaSins pads the sin count with frivolous nonsense that has nothing to do with everything wrong with... everything everywhere wrong with everything everywhere all at once.
Trying to eat someone's face in a public laundromat.
See?
Did the Daniel directors put their own name on a can of Campbell's soup? I'm sorry, but why did they put their names on the soup? I'm going to be thinking about this for the rest of this very easy-to-follow movie.
See?
What, you didn't think I'd notice this completely hacky Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, guys? It didn't take a lot of deep thought to throw that into the improbability drive, and Zayfa Beeblebrox that did it.
So it's sinful for people to put references to other unrelated properties in another property? Where have I heard this before? Oh well.
Why does this specific camera have to glitch and say establishing connection before we see Wayman get universe possessed? We know people can jump into bodies that aren't on camera, so what's the point here other than drawing the audience's attention to what might be happening?
Jeremy answers himself cliche.
Also, the entire screen glitches and says calculating route. So does this mean the technology used this entire television to do some sort of advanced routing first and then jumped over to an individual camera feed to finalize the jump? That's a very strange, specific way to jack in, and at best is extremely narratively convenient.
Okay, let's say it is convenient. Now what? Why is this a problem? The entirety of human existence has been attempting to make things more convenient, which would suggest that things being convenient is a good thing. Now that the context of convenience is in play, explain why something being convenient narratively is a bad thing for an audience. I would suggest making things overly complicated and difficult for most people to understand would be a bad thing, especially for a product meant to be sold, such as a film. What's your explanation?
Holy shit, you see how many signs are in this laundromat? The 5-man electrical band and Tesla need to team up and do a charity concert for the anxiety this place triggers. There's so many signs here, Joaquin Phoenix has an open invite to come here and swing away.
Jeremy has been a rich YouTuber for so long, he doesn't realize this is what a real laundromat actually looks like. So the sin here is being a stereotypical member of the bourgeoisie.
你的飞机好不好？
Because I use closed caption subtitles, I know that some of the confusion here is that Evelyn and Gong Gong are speaking Cantonese while Wayman and Joey speak in Mandarin. But if you're just watching the English subs that the movie provides for this conversation, you would have no idea of that nuance. The movie doesn't think the audience can handle that there are different kinds of not English. And the sin is that the movie might be right.
There is a ton wrong with that. First of all, you're sending English speakers, but still gave the sin to the movie. You know, it's possible to make a point without running up the sin count where it isn't warranted, right? You can still use the ding and everything. But more than that, there isn't any real narrative reason to distinguish the different varieties of Chinese in this movie. For those that know the difference, it's an extra layer of characterization that Wayman comes from an area where they speak Mandarin and Evelyn hails from a place where they speak Cantonese. This film isn't about that concept, so it's weird to send the movie for it, especially when you think they're right for not making said distinction. The subtitles are there to make sure you understand what is being said, not how it's being said.
Please come and
This is
enjoy the
fine.
good food
Okay.
and nice music, okay?
All right.
Absolutely nothing about Debbie says she's going to attend this party, and yet later she does.
This is an example of CinemaSins pulling shit out of thin air and counting that as a sin. These are especially annoying because then I have people come to my comment section to defend this insanity simply because CinemaSins said it. This is no more a sin of this film than saying, nothing about this chick suggests she'd wear clothes, and yet she does. Who cares that she shows up? It's not a plot point. It's not relevant to the synopsis of the film. If it were gone, nothing changes. So why the f is it important enough to be a sin? It's a piece of background dressing used to flesh out the world. That's all.
Money laundering.
Pay attention.
Always do. That's how I got to thinking about where these special Bluetooth headsets came from that will now operate as universe transporters. Even if the Alphaverse can just jack into any random headset, are we suggesting that Wayman just happens to carry around 2 of these in the fanny pack at all times?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. It completely baffles me how you can seriously state that you pay attention and then ask where the headsets came from when we were clearly shown Wayman putting these in his fanny pack. What's worse, it's in the scene you were calling the security footage convenient. I'm at a loss as to how it was convenient for you when you didn't even understand why it was being shown to you.
Oh, and this brain scanning app would also have had to have been pre-installed on our phone for this moment. Movie is not only yada-yadaing the tech, but also why Wayman would be carrying these things in the first place.
As explained already, the movie isn't yada-yadaing anything. You're simply failing to pay attention. Go back to that security footage scene. They show you then that the Alphaverse can influence the technology of this universe to some degree. This is bolstered by the fact that they can use those headsets. Do you need me to continue holding your hand here, or are you getting the point yet?
I don't care how important the information here is. Stop putting your filthy hands on other people's mouth holes. This is never okay.
Even if they're Dragon Ball characters?
Oh, circles are going to be super important in this movie, aren't they? Like when Joy was watching the laundry earlier, or this pot of noodles, or the umbrella full of donuts, or this giant circle in the background just to the right of Evelyn's head that probably doesn't mean except now I'm looking at every circle like I'm watching the Hudsucker Proxy all over again.
Jeremy points out things on the screen cliche.
Evelyn slides the instructions just far enough to see that the next step is to close her eyes, and closes her eyes before she sees what she's supposed to do after that.
This is an audience manipulation, which is doubly sad for me because it means CinemaSins assumes their audience hasn't seen this movie, and if they're right, that's a bad thing. This movie was infinitely better than Marvel's Multiverse movie, and everyone should watch the year's best film, but I digress. Evelyn already read the list before this scene. They disingenuously cut out that part of the movie.
Mrs. Wang.
Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
Yes? Very busy today. No time to help you.
But she's the one that came here. She literally put her shoes on the wrong feet and broke through the multiverse to be like, nah, I just came here to tell you to f*** off.
You say this as if she had any idea of the wacko shit Wayman would drop on her in this closet. Her response is a reaction to what he said, and not her being sucked into the closet.
My wife confuses her hobbies for businesses.
Yeah, have to be careful with that. You might get stuck in a universe where you end up turning your hobby of nitpicking movies into an actual job.
I almost removed a sin for CinemaSins themselves pointing out that YouTube is a job, but then they reminded me that there are people that think YouTube isn't a job. For the record, a job is anything you do that regularly pays you for it. As I'm an entertainer, this is like saying what Jim Carrey does isn't a job, but that would be stupid, right?
Evelyn, are you paying attention?
Now you can communicate through mirrors. I get the sense that the rules of universe navigation in this movie come down to how cool it looks for the audience and not some idea of consistent guidelines. Come on, guys. Are you worried more about scientific consistency or making a good movie? Priorities, people.
The first of two problems with this is that you are under the assumption that you have learned everything the movie wanted you to know in the first 20 minutes of the film. It literally has only begun, and you, after this scene, learn more about the multiverse concept. So what's actually occurring here is you jumping the gun, thinking you know all there is to know about the guidelines of this film. The second problem is that this is simply a quick visual gag for the audience, which quickly ends in less than a second, and then she is whisked away into another universe. They do basically the same thing when she's in the closet and Deirdre pops out of nowhere there. Again, you are inventing shit to be mad about.
What is gross necklaces?
One time, my college girlfriend found my roommate. I mean, splitting the subtitles looks cool and all, but why would the universes be impacting them at all? This is a type of fourth wall break disguised as cleverness, and we don't go for cleverness around these parts.
I guess it's time I address the style in which this video was made. CinemaSins is trying to mix up their formula by incorporating the premise of this film in their video. That is to say, amongst other things, their subtitles have purposely become a little jank, and they're using their old ding sound in certain instances. Get it? Multiverse. I would applaud them for shaking things up finally, but this has resulted in an insane 42-minute length for this video. If this becomes a trend, I might become future Birdman for real.
So you know about this?
Hilarious misunderstanding about to happen here. But in what universe do you show somebody something by holding up the back of it to their face?
When he showed her the document, Wayman was actually looking down, likely in shame. He didn't realize he was holding it backwards until he looked up and she admitted she knew what the document was. By that time, considering the gravity of a divorce document, it didn't even matter to him that he was holding it backwards because from his perspective, she'd already seen it.
I know we're supposed to think Deirdre is a super awful person, but does she seem like the kind of person that puts on a rage face when she makes a walk across a lobby? Almost anyone would be prepared to throw hands if they saw someone walking towards them with this kind of anger.
Jesus, this sin. Are you seriously asking if a person who has won 3 straight butt plug awards walks around with resting bitch face? Then you add on the fact that Evelyn believes this woman is a racist that targets the Chinese community and the multiverse shenanigans. You know what? Never mind.
不是在说我们的事啊。
And this time I'm holding up the front of the page just to really pound home how stupid it was that I showed you the back of it a few seconds ago.
Another manipulated scene. Jeremy cut out the part of the movie that shows Wayman looking at the message on the other side of the document, realizing that Evelyn was confused.
你真係冇用啦，乜嘢你做都半途而廢。
I told you to stay low and out of sight.
Oh, you did not. Of course, Evelyn may just not have heard it when the movie was going back and forth between universes, but stay low and out of sight doesn't even sound like a plausible instruction you'd give her anyway.
Before Wayman was killed, he told her to trust no one.
Trust no one.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was referring to. You're being too literal.
Also, if you're keeping tabs on her in this universe, then why are you just waiting until now to connect? Wouldn't it have been better to jump once you realized she had confused which Wayman she was talking to?
You have already seen this movie. That means you know they cannot just jump into another universe's body all willy-nilly and have to establish a solid connection.
Wayman goes to another universe to jump inside another Wayman who knows how to fight and download it from him. But considering that he's been to so many universes before, why doesn't he already know how to fight? And why is he dragging this out like he's performing a magic show for a group of third graders instead of getting the skills as quickly as possible?
Again, you have seen this movie. They specifically show you that you eventually lose the abilities of your multiversal self and have to perform an improbable, unpleasant action in order to solidify the jump in the first place. You continuously ask for rules in these movies and disregard them when you get them. It's the funniest thing.
Why is Deirdre dragging this pipe from off screen when she just used it to brain the 4,655th Thetaverse's version of Evelyn? Did she drag it over there and then back?
You mean in the scene where it's clearly implied Deirdre has rounded up everyone in this universe to be killed? Meaning she's coming from whack-a-moling someone else?
If Jobu's goal is to find an Evelyn who can tolerate her bullshit, why are all these other f***ers sitting around as hostages? All she needs is Evelyn, who at the beginning of this scene was passed out on the floor. All these other assholes can just leave, right?
Except the film explains that Jobu is attempting to destroy all of the universe and kill everyone!
Here on Stimulation Simulation, we discuss simulated sex scenes in movies. We've
Whoa, that felt different. Are there different versions of CinemaSins in different movie universes? Maybe if I just stay on task, everything will remain normal. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure this is still the same burner universe as before, but now Evelyn is in a baby costume and Jobu is dressed like every middle-aged person I've ever seen playing slots in Vegas. This will never be explained. And I get cranky when movies don't explain every single thing. No nuance ever, damn it!
I'm going to keep pointing this out, but this is the basis for all these film channels that can't understand simple concepts in film. Besides the fact that the film goes out of its way to tell you Jobu is all-powerful, meaning she finds everything boring and meaningless, this is visual storytelling. You might not understand it at first, but once the scene with the cops happens, you realize Jobu is altering reality because she's trying to amuse herself through her infinite boredom. She exists everywhere all at once, meaning she's bringing parts of the other universes she exists in to the other universes. This is what the title of the movie means. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Do you get it?
You underestimate how the smallest decision can compound into significant differences over a lifetime.
But not so significant that we don't follow the same core group of people following the same general plot together. There's a balance. Theoretical physicists call it scripting.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a multiverse movie. No, seriously, think about what you're saying for a second. If the movie just randomly follows different people, what about that would say multiverse? The entire concept of the multiverse is you, but different. Has this man never seen an episode of Rick and Morty?
You can call me Alpha Wayman.
Or you can call me the expositional narrator. I'm basically here to be the audience's, your tour guide.
I really can't think of anything more annoying about CinemaSins than their insistence that a movie has to provide information and then ultimately complaining when it does. You can't even say they want show don't tell because they literally complained about Jobu changing everyone's clothing earlier.
Also, this is an IRS building. Seriously, do we really think there's someone who's been chewing multicolored gums and sticking this many wads under the desk like they're in 4th fucking grade? I guarantee there's a fucking wastebasket not 2 feet from this desk. See?
No, we didn't see anything. You really think this multiversal warrior on a mission to save existence cares about putting used gum he just found under a desk in the wastebasket? Here, Jeremy, laugh at yourself.
Why don't you get your Evelyn to do this? My Evelyn is dead.
Sure, but just as there are universes with slight variations of choices made, there should also be universes with variations of time. There must be a universe that is the same as yours, where your Evelyn hasn't died yet. What I'm saying is your question remains valid, and Evelyn would be excellent at universe sins.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Even if the ridiculous shit you just said were true, by definition that wouldn't be his Evelyn, genius. It would be the other universe with slower times Evelyn, meaning it's functionally the same as using this Evelyn.
Where the f*** did Deirdre jump to?
A universe where she's the Hulk, duh.
She jumped somewhere. Brute force. The sumo wrestler?
Or maybe an immortal serial killer with a penchant for babysitters and wearing rundown Shatner masks?
Chris makes a Halloween pop culture reference that isn't a
We've got a breakdancer, mime, a gymnast.
Give me Judas. Go!
My roommate's college dating process somehow makes it into the script.
I see there was a reason Jeremy has been the primary narrator of these videos.
Concentrate on a universe in which you study martial arts.
Those Bluetooth headphones make actual calls as well as verse jump? Will the tech conveniences never cease?
When did they stop being Bluetooth headsets, though?
It's here I'd like to point out that of all the improbable things Evelyn could do to verse jump, the computer thinks that licking your elbows, which is nearly impossible to do, has less chance of working than stuff that is way easier to do.
Well, Chris, it's not about the ability to do something, it's about how improbable it is to do that thing. I would surmise that if one could lick their elbow, like this person here, then it's not improbable. The only reason it's listed here is because Evelyn would almost certainly have to hurt her shoulder doing it, which is something she probably wouldn't do.
The next best paths are break your own arm or take a nap.
Well, actually, breaking her arm only has a 0.0054% chance of succeeding, and taking a nap has only 0.0028% chance. Poking her eye out, ripping out all her hair, writing a novel, and sneezing 200 times beat both of those things, while removing her toe beats taking a nap. So you're alive, Wayman?
Or you don't understand what that chart is actually showing. The percentage is not showing you which of these things have the best chance of succeeding, it's showing you their probability, genius. All of these things will succeed. It's telling you the probability of Evelyn performing these actions randomly. Remember, this movie is about the multiverse and how minute changes in actions will cause the differences in these universes. You're so smart, you're dumb.
Look, I'll buy that jumping into a different universe where you have skilled knowledge can be brought back to your universe's brain. But how do you bring back the strength to throw someone across a room? That's more than a skill. That would require a change in body composition, which makes all of the nonsense.
I'm curious how that's more ridiculous than being able to tap into skills and abilities from another you in a parallel universe. Besides, that's precisely what the film shows when Deirdre verse jumps.
What is she doing?
Sorry, Evelyn.
Looks like while I wasn't paying attention, Evelyn and Alpha Wayman just wandered into that Tim the Toolman Taylor's neighbor universe where we only see the tops of people's faces.
Everything everywhere wrong with everything everywhere all at once, ladies and gentlemen. Asians are too short. What? That's what he's saying, because that's what they're showing.
跟我走吧，将来一定会好的。我们可以自力更生。
It sure is nice that every universe comes with its own included expositional backstory. Hi, I'm Ched Severinson.
Hi, I'm Skip.
Oh, so Evelyn just learns Kung Fu by entering another version of her in some other universe who's mastered it? I'm shocked she didn't turn to Morpheus and say, I know Kung Fu.
Okay. Now, where's the sin? You just explained the film's premise, told us what happened on the screen, and made a joke. Are you going to explain everything everywhere wrong with this or nah?
Your mind is like a clay pot holding water. Every jump opens another crack, causing things to leak through.
Oh.
See, this bullshit is frustrating. One consistent tenet of these videos is you asking for things to be explained. This movie goes out of its way to make an incredibly simple metaphor, and you pretend that wasn't clear enough for the audience. A clay pot holding water that gets a crack every time you first jump. How is this in any way confusing? I mean, I get why it's confusing for you, you're a little special, but does this not explain the limitations on the science fiction succinctly?
Those overloaded mind usually dies. Instead, her mind was fractured.
This is the exact video representation of what happened when I watched this movie and Tenet back to back, and I tried to explain this movie using Tenet rules.
You tried to explain the rules of a film with another entirely unrelated film's rules? Well, that explains why Chris isn't featured in these videos more. Even Jeremy thinks that's stupid.
There is nowhere in our universe to see this universe's complete version of this movie. So lazy.
Not as lazy as this criticism, though.
不是去了美国吗？不是很穷的吗？
还好，我挺幸运的。
Just like the movie got lucky that you two happened to be in the same place in this universe so it could continue exploring its themes of change, destiny, and relationship. Now that's a shortcut.
Ah, you slipped up, Ched. That's a CinemaSins convenience criticism. The joke in this video is that you are all supposed to be alternate universe versions of CinemaSins, but that's just something CinemaSins would say in the Prime universe. So I appreciate the attempt, but you failed to be consistent with the writing here, so shortcut D's nuts.
I feel yourself. It's always a good jumping back.
Clearly not, or you would have told her to do that before trying to profess her love to Deirdre. Also, it would have shown up as better than 0.0002% on that list earlier.
Again, you are looking at a list that quite literally says improbable actions directly above the action you're pointing out, yet still think the percentage represents whether or not it would succeed.
See, I can physically be here, but what you meant to say is you're not allowing me to be here.
Being the asshole who uses semantic pedantry to pretend like someone made a mistake when you know damn well what they meant.
CinemaSins clowns CinemaSins, which is my job.
Literal blocking.
But it's literally not. That's a dildo. No, not that dildo.
Why do the handcuffs fall off just because her hands are now limp?
Because it's not just that her hands are limp, it's that her hands now don't have bones in them.
Everything about this is dumb. Ding. Pink water bottle, dumb. Ding. Buddha didn't have a cat, dumb. Ding. Potty plants on clothes machines, choking hazard, dumb. Ding. Too much pages, dumb. Ding. Sing movies are dumb. Ding. 10 million BCs is too many BCs, dumb. Ding. Stealing from 2001. It's Planet of the Apes to look smart, dumb. Ding. Also, Kubrick is a dumb. Ding. Fingers aren't stop sucking them, dumb. Fingers aren't stop using condiments, double dumb.
All this bullshit.
Ding.
Open up. Take a peek.
I'm not shitting you. Horn dog teens in the 80s were so hard up for sexual imagery that making vulva fingers was a real thing they did to imagine what it might look like. Today, they innocently Google bird repopulation by typing the phrase, "How do we spread eagles?" and then have enough high-resolution material to last them through the entirety of adolescence. Progress.
Fantastic. What the fuck does that have to do with everything everywhere wrong with this movie?
Okay, pause it. Why does this bagel not look very appetizing? You'd think a bagel with everything on it would be heaven, but it only appears to be located in heaven. Yes, JCD. Heaven is an illusion, sure. Oh, yeah, Addie's 417 coming in with a sub. Thank you. All right, this bagel needs a little more care before it can go out to customers. Comment below with how you would change this everything bagel to make it more appetizing and something that someone might want to buy. Now, back to the movie.
All right, let's drop the Birdman persona for just a second and just be the Birdman.
This entire video is extremely clever, and I can't go any further without admitting how brilliant of an idea it was to make alternate versions of themselves to send this particular movie. This is my favorite gag of the video, where Jeremy appears on screen as Twitch CinemaSins. You guys ask me all the time why I still like CinemaSins? It's because they're actually funny, and Jeremy is kind of a cool dude that does shit like this.
All right, back to being Birdman.
What the f was this? What the hell does this have to do with this film, and why did you think it was funny enough to include it in this video? Who the hell laughed at this?
Okay, fine, but where did the souped-up wheelchair come from? While he was supposedly eating pudding, did Alpha Gong Gong pop in and decide to build future technology from items that just happen to be available in the IRS kitchen?
Yes. Next question.
I'll be back, I promise.
No, wait.
Huh?
And that is all we're ever going to get from someone who just lost the last 30 minutes of his life and suddenly came to in a completely different room. Someone knocks at the door and he's all like, "Oh, someone's knocking. Guess that takes care of any and all existential crises I might be currently dealing with."
You also cut out the next piece of dialogue in the film where Wayman's confusion is immediately interrupted by the appearance of his daughter, which took precedence over that confusion.
Tipping your daughter!
Even if she's Jobu Tupaki?
Quickly. While she is distracted.
A box cutter? You're about to show up with a gun here in a minute. You think Evelyn killing her daughter with a box cutter is going to be easier?
Put them up now.
Bit of advice, try using knives next time. Works better for close encounters.
Switched it!
Papa, I know you don't agree with me, but this is something I have to do.
Wait, did she go to a world where she became the greatest impressionist of all time? And why?
After my Doctor Strange 2 video, it's clear to me that Jeremy doesn't understand what infinite parallel universes means. Anyway, Evelyn is randomly jumping to other universes in an attempt at splintering her mind so that she can potentially become like Jobu Tupaki. The scene literally says she's doing that.
What the fuck are you doing?
Papa, I know you don't agree with me, but this is something I have to do. That sounds weird.
Wait, you don't know where you'll jump?
So my question is 3657 the year? Is it April 15th, 3657? Or is that the universe? If it's the universe, why would you put it with the day and date? If it's the year, why does everything look so 2020?
It's obviously the year. And why does everything look so 2020? It's clear to me that Jeremy doesn't understand what infinite parallel universes means.
If you go to a universe to learn shit, are you required to use it when you come back? Just because you learn how to talk like a bird doesn't mean you actually have to do that, right? Like, I learned how to play piano in 3rd grade, but you don't see me doing that shit.
No, after verse jumping, she becomes that thing only with her mind. It's similar to the question of why did Doctor Strange become Paint in the Paint universe if he's only jumping to that universe? The answer is you take on the properties of that universe if your natural form cannot exist there.
Also, the translation from Chirp to English here says strong enough to save my joy, but it doesn't take into account the nuance of the Chirp word for save. The direct translation is fine, but technically this sentence in Chirp more accurately translates to maybe I'll be strong enough to cover my joy, a word for the Chirp population that indicates not only safety, but active sacrificial protection, something the movie's Chirp advisors should have taken into consideration and would have brought an extra layer to the themes of the film.
All right, you got me. I was totally taking this shit serious for a second.
Disgraceful. Is that a dominatrix? And is that a dungeon? Don't the people who made this know that this is an abomination? It is a sin against God. I give this scene 3 petals. 3 petals with holes in them.
I'm wondering why Chris thinks he doesn't already sound like that.
Find your jumping pads.
With all the different random shit people do to jump in this movie, we haven't seen one crazy thing not work, and we saw the list. Hardly anything should work, given the percentages. Why does anyone agonize over which random thing they should do when everything works?
It's like he has all the parameters of the rules and is intentionally ignoring them. This is the part where the morons that think CinemaSins isn't being serious about the things they say chime in.
You rang?
Hey Stan, haven't seen you around lately. What up, dog?
I'm not a canis familiaris. Don't speak Ebonics to me, please. Anyway, considering the tongue-in-cheek nature of this video, it's entirely possible Jeremy gets the rules and is being intentionally vapid.
I will admit it is possible, but I ask you, what are the actual odds he does understand and is playing a character considering we have him admitting to actually making mistakes in these videos?
I'm glad you asked. I've been calculating the...
Evelyn accesses a version of her that was blinded as a child, so she became a superstar singer, as one does, so that she would have greater spatial awareness and increased lung capacity. Cool, got it. But she then takes a giant breath in the room with the gas to take with her into the room that mostly has fresh oxygen. What the hell kind of plan is this?
Dude, she takes the big breath so that she can escape the room, and she takes that big breath when the room was still mostly air. As she exits the room, you can see why she took that breath. The room ends up completely filled with gas.
Sending your verse agents one at a time. Did no one jump to a universe that understands the power of numbers in combat?
Jeremy is a blood.
Sorry, baby.
What the f***? Oh, and for clarity, that one is not the good kind of what the f*** that this movie does so well. It's the, is it supposed to be funny that she just punted and is now swinging a small dog around in the air in a way that would almost surely severely injure it kind?
Sinning this scene. And that's not the normal, this is one of the best scenes in this movie kind. It's the, you are supposed to laugh at this, and if you aren't, you're probably a vegan, in which case... kind.
If you don't step up, I'm giving some of your shifts to Chad.
One thing that always impresses me about the Daniels is their attention to detail.
Are you talking about them using the name Chad here as a stand-in for a young upper-class urban male?
Urban male, exactly. It tells you something about the moment without having to be explicit about it.
No one wants to be replaced by a Chad.
No one.
No one.
Not even if they're just hanging around.
Like a hanging Chad.
I knew you'd pick up on that.
Oh, you.
I think the worst part about that cringe fest is the fact they label Jeremy's laugh as pretentious. That means every time Jeremy has done that fake laugh, they thought they were coming across as pretentious instead of like dudes jackrabbiting in a JAV.
This guy has amazing butt aim.
Sinning this scene. This probably got the biggest laugh in both theaters I saw this in, so you're saying we're all dumb for laughing at something comedic. You absolute monster.
Leaving a plug in while you fight. Not kink shaming here, just talking about the practical aspects of kinetic freedom, y'all.
Well, there was this one time I met this chick off Tinder and she had the stop. No, this isn't the time, bro. All right, moving on.
Mostly everything makes sense in this Kung Fu universe, except when we see Kung Fu Evelyn watching the movie that we're watching. Because in this world, she and Wayman haven't seen each other in years. And Wayman's in this movie. So she made the movie with Wayman, right? Or is this the main universe Evelyn transmitting her thoughts into Kung Fu Evelyn and it's being projected onto the movie screen? I love this movie.
Ched shortcuts something he likes cliche.
Pretending to end your movie with the third act crisis cliche.
Again, you're betraying the premise, shortcut sins. This is a CinemaSins line. You're supposed to be telling us how this is a shortcut.
The premise is absurd. The raccoon is using the chef's hair to control the cooking, but we asked 17 experts what they thought of this scene, and they said a resounding skip.
Waiting an hour and 16 minutes between chapter breaks. I mean, if you're going to do them, at least keep them evenly spaced.
Or movies are art, and they can be done in any manner the artist wants them done. I know that rustles the jimmies of film YouTube, but... But what? Nothing. I'm just glad it rustles their jimmies.
They awarded themselves an Oscar.
In their own movie.
In their own movie. Now, you all laughed when I said that when Wayne's World 2 put in that Oscar clip, they set a dangerous precedent for movies patting themselves on the back.
I was so wrong, Tom. I was so wrong.
Even if it's a joke. Even if it's a joke, Bob.
Who the f*** is Bob?
Maybe our prisons aren't crowded enough if filmmakers can just come in and do a tracking shot like this through multiple cells, which they obviously knock down walls to set up and not disturb the daily routine of our hard-working wardens.
You need a better mic. Or a better voice.
I've been thinking, this movie is making a mockery of Citizen Kane.
Kids.
Today we review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, starring these two piñatas that get beaten once again by a blunt object.
I would have removed a sin for making fun of Sadvocate, but he's a bologna sandwich, not a broom, so a sin's a sin.
I just want to know what's going on with this double-seated bike. I know everything is random, doesn't matter, is insane, etc. But could it be that this is possibly too random?
Jeremy is a lottery quick pick machine.
Sorry, no can do. Why not? I am your daughter.
Hold up. You all know what's coming here. Look at the book. Roll credits. Yes, Shireen, since it's a book, read credits might be more appropriate.
What's really going to blow Shireen's mind is when I tell you that you always read credits.
No, I'm going back with my joy to my family to live my life, a happy life.
Okay. Good luck with that.
I have to stop it again. Holy shit! Is everyone in this movie on their A game? I'm gonna have to take a few cents off here. You guys with me? Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Hsu, JLC. Oh, speaking of JLC, did you see that video where she and the Daniels were talking about us? Play that, Ian. Play that.
Sometimes we like to leave mistakes for the fans. So
okay, well, I was just wondering.
Yeah, exactly.
I will be quiet. We kept telling
Oh, is that why our movie looks like that?
Yeah.
Mistakes for the fans.
For the fans. I love when you know that YouTube channel, like what is it, Movie Sins or whatever?
Where are we?
CinemaSins.
Oh, I love CinemaSins. I hate it.
we like to leave things in for them, you know, just to make sure we want our CinemaSins to be very long.
Yeah.
Lots of things for them to call
so
out.
some smug guy can be like, the clock is different.
Come on, other Daniel. There's no universe where we sound like that. Ian, play JLC again.
Oh, I love CinemaSins.
Again.
Oh, I love CinemaSins. Oh, I love CinemaSins. Oh, I love CinemaSins.
Amazing.
2 sins, one for calling Jamie Lee Curtis JLC, Nobody does that. And another for again breaking the premise. Aren't you CinemaSins right now? How do you know who CinemaSins even is? You broke the fifth wall to wink at the fact that Jamie knows who you guys are. One of the Daniels literally said they hate you. Let's play that 3 times.
You know that YouTube channel, like, what is it, Movie Sins or whatever?
Why are we...
CinemaSins?
Oh, I love
yeah.
CinemaSins. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Look, I'm not sure where the Daniels got my colonoscopy video from, but I did not consent to it being used in the film. Casters with the sub-sin, let's go!
Here's the sin for Castriff, a guy that literally makes shit up to be mad at the Birdman about.
Where are you? I mean, to not even show up for your appointment?
Shut up.
Telling the incomparable Jamie Lee Curtis to shut up. He's a damn hero, I tells you.
Sinning Michelle Yeoh for following the script simply because Jamie said she loves CinemaSins. All that means is that Jamie hasn't yet seen my series. Won't be too much longer, though.
Hey, don't forget about her.
Have you ever had animal control come out to your house?
No, never.
No, never, right?
No, never.
No, never. So maybe I shouldn't be so confident about this, but if there was a talking raccoon, they'd probably do more than just throw it in a cage in the back of a truck, right?
Well, I would think so. It's a talking raccoon.
I mean, it's a talking raccoon, right?
You call someone about that, like David Letterman.
Oh, that's funny. Stupid pet tricks, right? You're funny.
Lies.
Is that a f***ing vase screaming?
Forget the vase, man. I want to point out that this fruit bowl has 3 oranges in it. Classic case of over-oranging.
Those are pears, idiots!
Holy sh**, I didn't even notice that.
Since I'm so arrogant for being able to predict what CinemaSins would say in my Infinity War video, I'm going to also point out that this is a literal rip from my Captain Marvel video.
I'll tell you what's real. Someone on this movie's set design team thinks this single mother living alone with her daughter keeps a bowl on the table with 6 f***ing lemons in it. That's real. That happened.
Well, since we're nitpicking, how do you know these are lemons? I mean, if you zoom in, this one is half green, so it really could be anything, like a mango or a papaya. Hell, even oranges.
Can we just stop fighting?
Wayman's just the best. Honestly, the sin is that the movie wasn't titled Everybody Loves Wayman.
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
Are these two the same age? Is that some weird coincidence, or are they twins?
Ched doesn't know people can have the same birthday. In fact, if you put 23 people in a room, there's a 50% chance 2 of them will have the same birthday. And if these 2 grew up together and got to know each other since they were kids in school or whatever, they'd have the same birth year, too. I'm not saying that is the case, just saying that it is entirely possible and not as improbable as being implied.
Kind of amazing that there are still people at the party after Evelyn smashed a window and the cops showed up.
Amazing? That's the best part.
Arranged marriages.
Jeremy just shit on India, which they will then clean with their hands.
Spanking other Daniel.
So Jeremy removed a sin because he's salty Daniel doesn't like his YouTube channel. Boo-hoo. You don't see me shitting on people that don't like me. I'm sorry. I couldn't deliver that line with a straight face. Yeah, nigga, because I was about to say.
Stop calling me Evelyn! I am your mother!
I am your sinner. You can't escape. I won't let you go. I must be in control of this process. You can't define my ability to sin you. Too much. I must persist. Prevent this school of reading away from logos.
I'm tired. I don't want to hurt anymore, and for some reason, when I'm with you, it just hurts the both of us. Just let me go. Okay.
Holy shit, this movie is so f***ing good.
Agreed.
Switched it!